Good day and welcome to Insider's View. I'm your host, Melissa Handrahan. Today we are really excited to have in studio with us Mr. Gosal, who's the Minister of State for Sport, as well as the Member of Parliament for the riding of Bramley-Gore-Malton. We are so excited to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Well, we want to start, Minister, because arguably you have the best ministry in the entire Conservative caucus. So I want to talk about how lucky you are, because it's quite uncontroversial, wouldn't you say?
Oh, very much. It's the best ministry in the cabinet. It's a fun portfolio, and it's been a great portfolio for me as well. And I was very lucky when Prime Minister Harper, appointed me to the Minister of Sport. And it's been a great ride. It's great to be, a sports minister in this day and age.
You've accomplished so much. I mean, you first of all defeated the first turban-wearing member of Parliament, Gurbakh Singh Mully, and then you suddenly get appointed to Minister of State for Sport. So, what do you think was the secret for you getting chosen to do this very important role?
Well, that only Prime Minister can answer that, but yeah. I consider it very lucky. It was a hard-fought election in May 2011, May 2nd, 2011, when I first got elected as an MP, and I thought, that was the, I think I can say, my best accomplishment in my career, becoming, coming as an immigrant to Canada and becoming as a member of Parliament, and I was excited. I was, so many phone calls around the world that night, and next morning I got, and then I got a call from Prime Minister's office that Prime Minister Harper would like to have a meeting with you, and I went, one morning, and he told me that we have selected you to, the Minister of Sport, and it was such a great honor to serve with such a great leader, best Prime Minister, Canada, I can tell you ever had. And he's doing a great job, and I'm very proud and very honored to serve in his cabinet as Canada's sports minister.
I'm sure you're even more proud and excited when Canada Juniors or the Olympics or all of the great hockey games that you've got to attend, sitting next to the Prime Minister. I mean, do you get nervous? Do you get excited? What are the emotions that you're going through?
Watching sports, I've always been involved in sports growing up. I played soccer through my college university as well, coach soccer, so I was very lucky, and also I became in November, end of November, I became the longest serving sports minister in Canadian history, and that's a great
congratulations.
Thank you. That's great. And under my watch, 2011, I went to first Pan American and Para-Pan American Games in Guadalajara, Mexico. So I've been to both Olympics, winter and summer, in London 2012 and Sochi.
So lucky.
Yeah, Sochi 2014. And 2014 we had Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. I was representing Canada there, cheering on our athletes, and especially this year has been proclaimed, 2015 has been proclaimed Year of Sport in Canada, and we started with World Juniors in January. That was a great feeling.
Fantastic.
Watching them, and especially when I put gold medals in their neck for Canadian juniors. That was a great feeling.
Yes. Now I want to get into the great feeling. I want the inside scoop here. Like when you're sitting next to the Prime Minister and watching a hockey game, we all know our Prime Minister loves that sport. It's his favorite sport. He's even written a book about it. What do you guys talk about?
No, he's a great sport fan. I consider myself probably biggest sportsman. He's bigger than even and he watches all sports.
Yeah.
You can talk to him about soccer. You can talk to him about other sports. Curling. He's been to curling matches as well, and he will critique some of the plays, and he will talk about if it's good or bad. Like he's not somebody who will hold back. He will tell you, okay, this team's not doing good, this should be doing better, and it's great learning from him, sitting beside him, watching with him, and picking on some of the comments he makes, and you learn a lot every time you with the Prime Minister traveling or watching something, talking to him. You learn something new and something great.
Now talk about some of the traveling, because you get to travel all over the world and all across Canada, and there's a lot of sports, I would say, that perhaps new Canadians don't know about and a lot of old Canadians don't know about. So let's talk about your role and what you do to try and promote, say, kabaddi to the general Canadian population, and how you would introduce a sport like curling to the Punjabi community. Can you talk a little bit about what role you play in that?
No, Government of Canada is the single largest contributor to amateur sport in our country. We spend over $200 million. So we spend that money three ways. The national sports organizations, 56 different national sports organizations in Canada. And we fund their core business, their programs. Then we fund athlete assistant program where athletes get money monthly for training and living expenses. So if your national sports organization makes you a carded athlete at a certain level when at the world rankings, you get monthly money. Then hosting program. We spend money to host national and international sporting events. So we spend money on that. And kabaddi, me being Punjabi involved, I help them, but kabaddi is still not a recognized national sports organization. Right. We're trying to help them achieve that.
Yes.
But again, when any sport that's played anywhere, people watch on this day on YouTube or on internet, they get interested. Same thing curling. I learned about curling. I went my staff and played a few ends, yes. Learned about curling. Now I can watch and enjoy it. Yes. And I don't mind trying different sports.
How do we get the South Asian community interested in a sport like curling?
Well, again, I went to Bramley Curling Club, and they were celebrating their 40th anniversary this year, and they were talking about maybe what I will do is promote it in South Asian radio and TVs, yes. Have a free curling for beginners, for a few days in Brampton. So that's how you start that. Other thing, Parliament of Canada, being a lot of members of Parliament very active in sports and physical activity. Last year, MP John Weston from West Coast, put a bill through the Parliament. It's been proclaimed that first Saturday in June is Health and Fitness Day in Canada.
Oh, great.
Okay, so what they're trying to achieve is every city, every private club, every sporting community, they open up their clubs on that Saturday for free to the general public, so people can come and try different sports. Okay. I truly believe if people can come and try that sport, some of them will end up playing that sport.
Okay, so the same will probably be true for cricket. Maybe cricket will also expand and develop. We'll see Canada play against India someday?
Oh, for sure. Cricket, field hockey, and soccer are the three fastest growing sports in Canada right now. Cricket is big all across Canada. Every province have it, and our Canadian team, both men's and women's teams, are coming along really nicely in cricket. Okay.
Well, we have a lot more to talk to you about sports, but after we return after this break, we're going to speak to the Minister about the upcoming Pan Am Games. Welcome back. We're in conversation with Minister of Sport, Gosal, and we want to find out more about the Pan Am Games. I mean, it's the historic thing happening in Toronto, 2015, and we want to know what your take is on that.
Well, Pan Am Games, Pan and Para-Pan American Games will be the largest multi-sport games ever hosted in Canada. 11,000 athletes and coaches coming from 41 countries of the Americas, and we're ready to welcome them. It's very, few months away. July 10th is the opening ceremonies for Pan Am Games, and August 10th is the opening ceremonies for Para-Pan Games. So Government of Canada has committed $500 million towards these games. Wow. And that will be towards infrastructure, legacy, and federal essential services. So we're building brand new facilities in Ontario. Ontario haven't hosted anything since 1930. Wow. So Aquatic Center at University of Toronto Scarborough campus, York University Athletic Stadium, Velodrome, first ever indoor velodrome in Canada in Milton, soccer stadium in Hamilton, and then some other renovations that are going on, and other facilities in Markham, Ajax, Mississauga, all the way to Welland. And these will be great games, and it'd be a great time to showcase, especially GTA as such a multicultural society.
Speaking about multicultural society, how are you specifically getting the South Asian community involved in these games?
Well, we've been proactively promoting it on radio, televisions, all different communities. Especially, we need 20,000 volunteers. So we've been encouraging, friends, family, people, university students to get involved as a volunteer. And we have 48,000 applications for that.
Wow.
And interviews are going on, and a lot of them are selected, and a lot of South Asians will be showcasing our cultures to these visitors and athletes, and they've been selected, and it's going really well, and we keep promoting it.
That's exciting, and I want to know a little bit more of which sports are we going to be looking at?
Well, every single summer sport will be from soccer, baseball, softball, all the athletics, swimming, water polo, table tennis, badminton, soccer, then canoe and kayak, mountain bike, even target shooting, so horse riding.
So something very similar to the Olympics.
Yeah, it is same disciplines as in Olympics, and it just a lot of, especially South Asians will know Asian games that happen in Asia. Same way it's the game of Americas. All the Caribbean and North American countries will be competing.
Okay, and what are you going to be around for all the games, or are you going to be on the campaign trail?
No, I'll be around games as well as campaign trail. Election is in October, so I will be at the opening ceremonies. I'm going to try to go to as many events where Canadians are especially participating as much as I can. Especially it's in my backyard.
Yeah.
I'll be home and going to the games and work in the campaign trail, and this will be a great opportunity to showcase Canada to Americas, and also work with the friends.
Well, it will be a very exciting time, and if people want to get more information about the Pan Am Games or to purchase tickets to attend some of the events, where would you direct them to?
Well, websites, both for Pan and Para-Pan American Games. Toronto Organizing Committee, all the tickets are available on the website, and any other information they can call my Brampton office here as well. We can give them information, and Toronto 2015 Organizing Committee have all the information on the website.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about your Brampton office, because you've got two roles to play. You've got the ministerial role, which is obviously very, very hectic schedule and high-powered position, and then you've got your constituents. How do you find a balance between the two?
Well, first of all, you have to have a good staff. I'm very lucky to have a very good staff in my Brampton office. Yeah. They entertain, all, people coming for inquiries, for any help, and then when I'm in Brampton, I'm in the office, talking to people, taking on meetings, meeting with everyone, going around, even on the weekends, go to different functions, community events, talk to them, ask what kind of help they need, we can provide. And other thing, Melissa, I do is when I'm in Brampton, I usually go door knocking. I never stopped door knocking all through last 3.5 years, almost 4 years now, and I just like to go out and just meet people and show my face and ask them what can we do. And sometimes they get surprised. Is the election coming? I say, no, there's no election. I just wanted to come and meet with you so you can put a face to the pamphlets or the flyers you get from my office, that I'm a regular human being just like you guys, and let's talk if there's anything we can do.
That's very interesting that you take that grassroots approach. I'm wondering, does this type of lifestyle take a toll on your personal life and your family life?
Well, it does a little bit. I'm very lucky that we're so close to Ottawa. So wherever I'm traveling, I end up at home at night, and next morning I can take a 1-hour flight to Ottawa. I'm lucky my kids are grown up. They are university, finishing university or almost at that age, and my wife does sometimes feels lonely, and some trips I do take her with me whenever there's feasible, and try to spend as much time as I can.
And would you ever recommend your kids to follow in your footsteps in politics?
Oh, I recommend everybody.
Yeah.
And it's something you give back to the community. You have to have the commitment, you have to have the time, and you have to have the urge to do it, determination to do it. And it is something you're giving back to the community. I encourage anybody and everybody who can find some time and work on these things, come out and join the race.
But what's the one best advice you can give to somebody who's aspiring to be in your shoes?
Oh, get involved in community, get involved in grassroots. That's where you learn. That's where you make your I guess way to the top. So biggest thing is to get involved in the process, get involved in the political process. Doesn't matter what party it is. Get involved in the community, work, volunteer, some work at maybe politician's office, maybe some of the Peel Children's Aid Society, or any of these soccer clubs, YMCA's, or city of your local city. Get involved, and that's the biggest thing.
Well, from Minister to Member of Parliament, we have lots to talk about with Minister Gosal right after this break. Welcome back. We're up close and personal with Minister Gosal, the Member of Parliament for Bramley-Gore-Malton. Now, we all know that the boundaries are changing in the next election, and I'm curious to know what's happening in Bramley-Gore-Malton, and where are you going to be running?
Well, with the population growth in Brampton, probably Brampton is one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and we are going from 3.5 ridings to 5 different ridings in Brampton. We had 2 of our ridings sharing some portions with Mississauga in the last election. In the 2015 election, Brampton will have own 5 ridings: Brampton East, Brampton Centre, Brampton North, Brampton South, and Brampton West. So my office is in Brampton Centre right now, and so I'm running from Brampton Centre. And then Brampton East, Brampton West, and Brampton North and South. Brampton North is our sitting MP Parm Gill, and Brampton South is Kyle Seaback, and then we'll have 2 new candidates in Brampton West and Brampton East. Okay, so speaking about Brampton Centre, what are some of the challenges that you're hearing at the door? What are some of the feedback that you're getting from people? Oh, when I go door to door, it's again economy. And economy is number one, but this, especially lately, security as well. We've seen, the way things are happening around the world, especially in the Middle East. Security is on everybody's mind. We saw, that unfortunate attack on the Parliament, Canadian Parliament. And Canadian Parliament's been probably the most open institution in the world. All Canadians can just walk up. They can still go there, but you have to be careful now. And those are 2 major things people talk to me about, and they're very happy the job Prime Minister Harper is doing and the government's doing. They give me such a great feeling when they say thank you for all the work you're doing, and you're on the right track, and that is what's important to Canadians. Now, if you get re-elected another term and you have to get shuffled in the cabinet, what's the portfolio you'd like to get? No, I don't work on portfolio. My job is to get elected as a Member of Parliament. Yes. That's my core goal. That's how I'm working in Brampton, to get elected as a Member of Parliament. Now, when it comes to anything else, it's up to the leader, it's up to the Prime Minister, who will decide who gets what and who gets into the cabinet. Yes. So my job is, work for my leader and get elected as a Member of Parliament from Brampton Centre. Very well said, very well said. You seem to be quite a humble, down-to-earth and real politician. Do you find that your colleagues
are very similar in your thought process, or do you find a big difference between the Liberals, the NDP, the Conservatives, and how they approach politics?
Well, there is a difference. Of course, ideology is different, and you know, I can tell you the Conservative Party is a party of working class people.
Okay.
And you know, we are a grassroots party. We work with you know, all community stakeholders. We work with local volunteers, and those are the core. Your family, your friends, and your volunteers. They are the core to get you elected. And you know, that's where you start. And I mean, other parties we've seen, NDP, no plan whatsoever. They just want to raise taxes. They would like to you know, have a carbon tax, and you know, there's no plan. Liberals, you know, on the other hand, we have a liberal leader, Mr. Trudeau, who thinks the budgets will balance itself. You know, it's strange. Like, you know, I mean, you have to have a plan. You have to have, you know, something to show to Canadians what I'm, you know, willing to do, what trying to do. You cannot just depend on, oh, okay, go with the flow and just get elected.
Who are some of your favorite people to work with on the Hill?
Oh, I work with everybody. I mean, all MPs, like I work with some of the opposition MPs,
okay.
Especially sports portfolio. It's such fun portfolio. I work with everybody.
Yeah.
I enjoy working, and it's great working.
Who would be your closest confidant on the Hill?
Oh, there's quite a few. Quite a few, and again, I work with everybody. I mean, our own MPs, and then you know, all the ministers. You have to work as a team. You win as a team. You have to work as a team. Communication and teamwork is most important to get elected, to govern the country.
Some of the challenges I'm sure you in particular face because of your portfolio is accommodating the many, many requests for tickets. I mean, I'm sure you get it from constituents, you probably get it from family members, you probably get it from fellow colleagues and ministers. So how do you handle that?
The biggest thing is a lot of these tickets are for professional games. You know, NHL, baseball, or NBA, and you know, we are amateur sports. You know, I don't have anything to do with the professional sports.
Okay.
And so I encourage them to go sport teams, buy tickets, and you know, it's very important to support amateur sport. So I encourage everyone, you know, whenever there's you know, sporting events here, I encourage them to spend some money, buy some tickets. Well, I can help you buy the tickets. I go buy my tickets. I tell everybody to go buy your tickets. I encourage some of the businesses to promote some of these sports. You know, if you can buy tickets, sponsor them, it's very important, especially some of the sports like field hockey and cricket.
Yes.
They need all the help to grow.
Yes.
And so I encourage a lot of businessmen around the country, you know, support these new sports, and so they can, you know, the kids can play and excel.
Is there a lot of pressure on your ministry to give more money, and how do you balance trying to get a bigger piece of the budget and then, you know,
no, I've been very lucky. We have, as we mentioned before, Prime Minister is probably the biggest sports fan in Canada, and I was very lucky. Last 3 budgets, sports budget has been maintained. Every ministry had to, you know, cut backs because of the financial situation around the world.
Yes.
But sports budget has been maintained. We spent over $200 million, and sports community appreciates that. I mean, there's always much more we can do. There's always, you know, more money we can use, and but you know, they are very happy. The amount of funding that, when you know, capped is when since 2006 almost doubled. The funding on the podium program we have, you know, for high performance athletes. It's been great, and I get thank yous all around the country.
Yeah. Well, we think that you're doing a fabulous job, and do you have any final message that you'd like to give to the community before we end our program?
No, thank you for having me, and it's great talking to you. You know, I love talking about sports, and again, coming back to Brampton, that's where I'm elected from. I want to thank the community for giving me the chance, and all the volunteers, all the friends who are supporting me, you know, year after year, especially donors as well, done some fundraising and people paid towards next campaign. So I want to thank each and every one of them, and want to make sure that we keep engaged. And please write us, call my office, anything we can help, any suggestions you have I should be doing. So that's very important moving forward. And again, thank you for having me, and it's been great having, being a member of Parliament from Brampton.
It's a pleasure having you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next amateur sport event.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care. And that's another wrap-up of our show at Insider's View. I'm Melissa Handrahan. See you next time.